Thanks for your invitation to share some thoughts and some experience about this topic that I think is an important quality of Baba say, the quality of determination. Sometimes Baba also has said that determination is the key of success, no? And as we understand, as we go through the BK life, we understand that this is a long-term race, no? We could say that running life is like a marathon, no? And I like to sometimes make the reference to some examples, mainly from the sports, because I like the sports, and for me it's an interesting way to practice sometimes these qualities, no, that Baba is trying to teach us, especially determination, no? Because, for example, I like to play tennis, no? And sometimes when you play tennis, you go through different moments. Sometimes you play well, sometimes you go, and it's like sometimes it's like life itself, no? Life itself is not a constant line up, but it's up and down. And sometimes when you don't play well, or you are in a bad day, you have to try to find solutions. You have to try to keep always a positive attitude to solve the problems. And of course, having enough capacity and resources, it's important, but also having the faith that you can achieve the victory, even it seems that you are losing the match. And that's where I was saying, no? Also taking the example of a marathon. I haven't run marathons. I climb mountains, and I have also a good example about climbing mountains. I remember once, but the example of the marathon, I think it's important because it's a race of resistance, no? And especially when you race a race of long-term race, you have to keep very focused in the goal. Of course, you have to be trained yourself, have to be fit. You have to practice enough to be able to run the marathon. That's always an important key, no? To know your capacities, your strength, also your limitations. But always there is, in any aspect of life, in any race, in any sport, there is always this mental, what they say, the mental factor. What makes the difference sometimes in a good player or a big champion. Normally it's the mindset, the mind, and the strength of the mind, and this power of the mind, and being able to solve problems in a critical moments. This capacity of finding solutions when you seems that everything is against you. I think this is a very differential aspect that makes someone of a high, could say, champion. But taking again this example of the race, no? We are in the race of achieving our, we could say, perfection, our karmatita stage. Also, we have to keep focus in this aim. And of course, it's such a high aim that you have to find ways to make also short-term goals in your life, in order to achieve the big aim. In the corporate world, always they say this, no? You have to find your purpose in life. But also then, once you find the purpose, or your sense of mission, you have to make some goals, some steps to achieve that big purpose or big mission. And to keep this focus on it, such kind of attention. It's because our goal in BK Life is such a high goal. It's, we could say, the highest that someone can achieve. That, of course, needs, Baba said, the qualifications has to be according to the aim. If I want to compete in a high league, in the Champions League, I have to be, I have to train myself. I have to prepare myself according to the aim I have. And that, as I said, this focus of attention, this aim, this clarity, is very important. And for that also, I think sometimes maybe in life we can have a habit that is the habit of sometimes looking lateral sides, looking what is happening in the world. Of course, we have to be informed. We have to know what happens in the world. We know that we have the more clear information of what is happening and what is going to happen and why it's happening. So then we don't need to involve maybe much more our energy in that. But Baba said we are part of the construction. I like sometimes a title that Baba gives, no, that you are wall benefactors. And of course, as the world is falling apart, and probably all of us always, we are facing some challenges in our lives. And situations will become even more challenging, more difficult. So we need to work, I think, mainly in our attitude. And I was remembering one Murli that from this year that Baba spoke about this quality of determination. And he joined the quality, the virtue of determination with the transformation. You have to have this deep commitment of transformation regarding letting go your old scars. That also it's always a challenge that we have, how to really have this determined thought that we don't want to use anymore these scars. And Baba was speaking also about the virtue of determination. And he also said, don't use the word reasons, but instead always try to find solutions, so whatever happens. And I think it's such important because we could say such important mindset, attitude that strengthen our willpower and determination. That my aim is bringing this benefit to the society, to the world, and I have to be focused always to find the solutions. See the challenging situations, but the only thing that sometimes a person can do, whatever happens, is keeping this mindset of what I can do to improve the situation or to solve. And if I cannot do anything, then Baba also gives a very good tool that is working the subtle level of the sending blessings and good wishes. Sometimes Baba was putting the example, no? Sometimes someone is not behaving the way we maybe expect, or someone is creating trouble. Baba never say, take the law in your hands. Say the opposite. Say, don't take the law in your hands. Baba always said you have to tolerate, you have to keep quiet, no? Don't react, don't use anger. And of course, I think always there are people, there are situations always that are challenging, but I have to be committed to this aim of no matter what happens, my um, my determination is to work in a positive way, using Baba's knowledge, using the power of yoga, using the power of the mind, the good wishes, the blessings. And of course, not always will be successful. There will be moments probably we will react. These all sanskars, we know that it takes time to transform the sanskars, but the determination, it's also the quality that allows, okay, keep insisting, no, keep doing. No? Maybe we fall down, maybe we failure, try again, no? Try again, and until you become successful. I used to, I have a lucky brother, no, that also teach me a lesson of determination, no? Because he used to work as a singer, but it was not so successful, no? But he always had the determination that this is what he wanted to do. And even he didn't get success, he kept trying. And he used to have a slogan, and I like it. He says, from defeat to defeat until the final victory. No? And for me, also, this shows an example, no? An example of how you can overcome sometimes situations that they look very difficult. But reflecting also about this topic of determination, I think in BK life we need a kind of inner motivation, not external motivation, that to realize that we are in a crisis, global crisis, and challenging situations. But my motivation has not to be activated according what happens outside, but I think it has to be an inner motivation. I think, and this is a question we always have to ask ourselves: why I am following this path, what I really want, and what is my deep motivation that keeps me keeps fueling, keeps giving energy to my motivation. And I was reflecting about that today, and in my personal case, what I've been feeling that has been an important factor of motivation is wanting to know and understand the truth. And when we understand this knowledge and we really experience the benefit of that and the transformation through that, and gives the answers to all what we have been looking for, and we realize that what Baba is saying is the truth. Even sometimes we initially maybe we don't understand everything. Of course, becoming a Brahmin, it's a process itself, because of course old scars sometimes are not easy to overcome, as we know. But in my case, when I started the PK Life and I received this knowledge, for me was so clarifying. It's like making sense everything, because already I was in a path of searching, trying to understand some experience that I had before the end. Some could say kind of awakening that I had. And in my search in the Bhakti before Gyan, I was 30 to understand. I was 30 to know what is the truth. Connecting with that also, for me, another motivating factor was I resonate always very much what is also the aim of Raja Yoga, this idea of becoming a king of yourself, having this self mastery, especially because my mind was in a very chaotic way. I used to have the habit of thinking too much, maybe because this desire, no, to wanting to know, to wanting to understand. And for me, the knowledge was so engaging at the beginning, and it gives me so much clarity and understanding and realizing this truth, the power of truth. But then, of course, you realize that one thing is having this, let's say, understanding, this insight, this aha. But another thing is to commit with this truth and what all what is involved in this commitment. And of course, then comes a little bit the hard side. No, it's a little bit to change your lifestyle, to change. But for me, even that, I felt was so empowered at the beginning that even to live some habits, changing lifestyle was not something too challenging. I think challenges maybe come later on as we engage more in service sometimes, because since the beginning, also what happens is I was so involved in in service, and for me, service has been also important way to apply what Baba is teaching, because of course one thing is the theory, another thing is the practice. Somehow the circumstances were such that I became quite involved in in the service. But I think also sometimes it happens some of us that we don't always not find the right balance. I always say the main balance, the four subjects of Gyan, and of course the subject, the balance between yoga and service was always not there. And and I learned through the years that to give the priority of my stage and understanding that my stage is the what will do the service. Before I thought that service will help to build my stage, but through the years I think I understand more that working in my stage is another approach, and it's not just the doing, because sometimes you always focus with the doing, and our consciousness is not at the level that Baba wants. Is what happens is we create a kind of this. We change roles, no? We create a new role in BK life, and sometimes subtly we start to define ourselves with a new role in the BK life. And that also, I felt sometimes this was a trap for me, no? Creating a sense of identity based on my role in the field of service, in the field of BK life. And what sometimes happens in my process of evolving and develop the right approach to Baba's knowledge is that I cannot define myself with what I do. And even if I get a position in BK life, that doesn't mean that um, I have a good stage. Because what I also realized with the years is whatever are our specialities, Baba use it, these specialities. And someone can have a great specialities of communication, managing, and Baba always used these specialities. But as I say, no, if I don't really do this inner work in a very consistent and conscious way, sometimes we can get trapped in the service we do, and we get sometimes so busy in BK life that this is what happens sometimes to me. I get lost in the way sometimes of the right focus. No? As I said before, the focus is not be just a successful BK, but understanding that BK is a mean to achieve uh, a higher consciousness, a higher stage. That is not the aim itself to be just successful BK. Determination has not to be just focusing that Ramon has to be successful. No? But Ramon is also kind of an instrument, a vehicle, no? That the soul becomes enlightened again and becomes close to Baba, close to God. And as I say, no, so we could make also some Baba sometimes speak about the power of science, how science has developed so much and we have seen so many results. And I think it's a good example, no? Because in science, they try also to discover the truth of things in life. And of course, they make the experiments and they focus their attention in just what they do and try to see the results. And and I think in this period after 35 years in my Brahmin life, I think Baba has said you have to develop the power of silence. Because the power of silence, Baba said, is higher than the power of science. And I think we have to, well, I say for myself, I have to experience more in this power of silence and the power of higher thoughts. That is, as I said, relating with this quality of determination. No? Is learn more to create these powerful thoughts, these higher thoughts, and there is no trace of waste, no trace of negativity. No? In that Murli I mentioned before, I also say that the reason that our determination sometimes it loses, it becomes, sometimes it seems we are very, very focused, we really want to achieve these results and we start to practice and then there are some weaknesses that comes on the way. Sometimes it's laziness, sometimes Also, Baba mentioned carelessness, no? Carelessness as a one of the, we could say, weaknesses that makes us lose a little bit the focus or the concentration. And another big weakness that can sometimes, I think, can happen is this habit we have developed sometimes is looking at others. And as I was saying, the example of a marathon, when you are running a marathon, you have to be very focused in the in the goal. You also have to know how to get your rhythm to reach there, and you cannot compare with others. You don't have to look others, and this is running more, and I have to go faster than that one. I have to find my rhythm. So this is what also it's important, not to know very well yourself. What is your rhythm? No? Don't I cannot try to be someone else. I have to be myself and know what are really my talents, my specialities, and of course um, use also more Baba. I think this is one of the things that, for example, the Murli of today was remaining. No? That I think none of us will really be here or achieve some success in this spiritual life without Baba. We always have to realize that it's Baba who was made as we could say help us to transform some aspects and of course when I came also to this Brahmin life, you say Ramon developed some capacity, some talents that even I didn't know myself that I have. And I think this is one Baba knows how to also allow these specialities, these talents to manifest. Um, but we cannot take credit of this because Baba strengthens these qualities and awakes and allows us to be used uh, in his service. So this gratefulness to Baba always has to be very clear and always give always all the credit to him for whatever we have achieved. And it makes things much more easier because we are limited in our capacity to really give what the souls they really need today. Only Baba can really fulfill, can satisfy what souls really need. And for that, mm, I like it what Baba said today in the Murli, no? And try to invoke him, try to work in partnership. And this is something that we always saw in the daddies. No? It's like they had this combined stage, and that it looks like Baba was always with them. And this close relationship, and it also makes things much more easy. No? I think also the key of determination as the key of success is to be aligned, no? The self, our higher self, with others, with Baba, and with the drama. And when that happens, my feeling in the field of service is that everything flows easily and naturally. Um, and sometimes also we see some magic happens in service. Um, and I like, especially maybe in the beginnings when I started in the field of service, and I think something that we were in the beginning, and maybe we lose through the years, but we have this naivety. We were so naive, but in this innocence, I think Baba could use better ourselves, no? And we really think that we could do wonders, no? We could achieve anything, and I really see sometimes wonders that I don't think by myself I could do that, no? and and I think it's important, no, to feel this Brahmin life and something unique, and feel this magic, no, that Baba can perform if we are well aligned and connected and with the right intention, with the right consciousness and the right motivation. No? And always, any success we get in service, and always um, direct, no, that praise, that recognition to Him. That is because of Him that we could really achieve that. And I think in personal and myself, I think without this Baba's, you could say, energy, Baba's help, I really could not transform some aspects of myself. Of course, always there is also this motivation that helps you to give this step. Baba sometimes speaks about also the importance of courage in life, and I think is another element of determination. Baba said sometimes this sentence that I like very much, no? If you will give one step towards Baba of courage, Baba gives 1,000. But of course, we have to give the first step. And as we give the first step, Baba then gives 1,000 steps. And also thinking about determination as a strength, no, that sometimes someone has to put in action thoughts. No? Thoughts really are focused and powerful, but then the capacity to put in action and sustain that. And I think to sustain in action sometimes the thoughts, other elements that are important, it's that are aligned with your sole purpose, we could say, the purpose of your life, the sense of mission. There is alignment also with your talents, your qualities, and also the right strategy, because sometimes maybe if there is not the right strategy, maybe we put ourselves in situations that has not well think about it. I also experienced some situations that we didn't really plan properly, some projects of service, and we didn't really have the proper, you could say, planning and structure and strategy. And of course, they didn't go well. But as I was saying before, even sometimes the failures in life, but the failures in, you could say, apparently failures, because uh, it teaches you some lessons, and that also it's important. And sometimes you experience a test. Uh, there are tests in Brahmin life. You could say test of faith, because sometimes I experience we put a lot of energy in a project. There were a lot of resources, but it didn't went well. And anyway, Baba said this must be some reason behind it. Baba said there is always a reason behind it. What happens, even we don't understand, but we have to have this trust and this faith that. And because I also was grow up, I was born in a family that were farmers. The life in the countryside also, I was reminded that it teaches me a little bit that life itself sometimes in the nature has its own rhythms, its own process, and has a time for everything. You know? And as we see the farmers, they plant the seed, they prepare the soil, and they do first, they know what they have to do themselves to prepare the field and prepare the seeds and to plant the seeds at the right time. But then, of course, there are processes in nature that doesn't depend from the farmer. It depends from the life itself, the situations, and it has to detach. It has to detach and allow the process in nature happens at its own rhythm. And this also teaches me understandings, and sometimes in Brahmin life you don't see the immediate results of things. That what Baba is also always telling us is just do what is in your hands, is prepare the field properly, put the right seeds at the right moment, and then try to, of course, look after the seeds when they grow up, but sometimes don't expect results. Sometimes there are some seeds where they will not give fruit. Some seeds will grow up, but the farmer never loses the hope in the process of nature. And even if there are no good season, whatever has not been rain, the next season he starts again and he tries again and he do the same, knowing that it has to work at some point. It has to work. And this is also, I think, an attitude that for me sometimes has been helpful, and especially to balance the determination, because I've been quite, you could say, determination also to start things, to start projects, has been something quite easy, quite natural in my capacities. No, I start giving always the first push. I could say, starting things has been a quality quite naturally easy with me. No? But sometimes I have to learn more to develop other qualities that were not so natural in me. And I think I remember Brother Anthony always used to speak about the balance of virtues. Sometimes, if you go to the extreme of something, then it becomes like a weakness or a defect. Like, for example, no, the determination. I've seen many souls starting with a lot of enthusiasm that became life, a lot of determination. But after sometimes that this determination it fade away. Because of course we need other qualities to sustain the initial effort. No? You need this consistency, we could say, this discipline, being consistent, being um, also, of course, the commitment to the goal, and to prepare yourself according to that commitment. And making sometimes of course, some sacrifices. If you in life, if you want to get something, sometimes you have to let go other things. Baba gives a very high aim and also very high reward to achieving that aim. But of course, that makes we have to sometimes let go other things. And should not be a sacrifice, no, because what we get is much more than what we let go. And as I say, no, sometimes you have to make this revision, no, because of course having such a high aim, it can be always a little bit insatisfaction, no, that still I haven't reached there. But sometimes also we have to revise also what we have achieved, no, what we have received, what we have experienced. Of course, there is still some uh, aspects now that are not really maybe transformed or achieved, but always give this value on all what we have received and all what we have achieved. And always work also with this energy, this attitude of being grateful and feeling that we are really lucky to be in this life. But it's also true that when you reach sometimes the final part of a path in life, I was remembering also an example that I will remember, always has been in my mind, because as I said, I used to like go sometimes to the mountains, and that was a situation that happens before Gian. No? And I remember we went with a group of friends to climb a mountain in the Pyrenees, in the north of Spain. And I remember that there was so much snow uh, at that season, and we were not so well prepared for going to that with that weather, that so much snow. We were not so well prepared. We didn't climb a very high peak, but it was, I think, 3,000. Was quite, uh, it's not so high, but for us was a quite big challenge, to reach that mountain. And of course, as I say, the climate, the conditions were quite challenged. I think we were young and we had strength, and we had enthusiasm, and we had determination. But as we start to climb the mountain in the final part, we say, wow, has been quite challenging. And we start to have some doubts, no? Maybe we are not so well prepared, there is so much snow. We start to build these excuses, we could say. Some, no? Some. But for me, the good lesson was that we were one of the group knew very well the path, and he has been before there. And for me, when the doubt we have is when we were at some level in the mountain. We thought, well, but still is so much going up. But because he knew he has been many times before in that mountain. He said, no. It seems that it's much, but it's not much. It's 15 minutes. We are there. It's the sensation was it was very far, but because he knew that, he said, no. Trust me that we cannot give up now because we are so close. Of course, we keep going up in the mountain and finally reach the peak. And for me, that feeling, reaching the peak, was so satisfying, no? Because it was such a view from there, a spectacular view. But especially this overcoming this situation, this challenge, this weak thoughts we have at some moment and reach the peak was so uplifting, no? Was so satisfying. And for me also the lesson was that the importance sometimes as we have the right guide. And I think this in the Brahmin life also applies that sometimes we need the right to take some reference, no? some good good guides who has run the road, they have gone through the path. As we know, we have many examples in front of us, no? Brahma Baba, of course, Mama, the daddies. And they have applied all these virtues and this determination, and they have walked the path. And it is said sometimes when someone walks the path, first one, then many others, they feel able that they can do it. There are many examples, no, in life. No? So someone breaks a limit of something, and then many others think that it's possible to do. And for me, that in that case, I explained climbing that mountain, as I trust that friend, no, that guy, that because he knew, no, he knew the way, he knew the path, he knew that we were close, we cannot give up. And sometimes we need also these kind of reference examples, but also you have to understand that we only can climb if we take this conscious decision, personal decision, and in that last bit of the mountain, you depend of just of yourself. Well, you have taken the right decision because you have seen the good guide in front of you, the good example. But then, of course, in the last bit of climbing a mountain, always you depend on your own strength. Your own strength. And I think also it's quite symbolic in our spiritual life, that because when these people who go to the Himalayas and climb very high peaks, at the beginning they have a lot of material, but they have to give up everything. And they reach, if they want to reach the peak, they have to be very light. They cannot keep anything that keeps weight, because they need all the energy, all the focus to climb the peak. And I think it's very symbolic of our journey. Our journey also, we have sometimes still maybe some subtle attachments, subtle desires. And we have also to find out what is not allowing me to climb the peak at the top. What are the strengths? No? What are the subtle bondages still? No? What are the subtle weaknesses or the sanskars still I didn't really want to let go? Definitely still something keeping height inside. And knowing that maybe we are close, but also it is said sometimes in the field of sports, especially the sports of resistance, no? Like marathon or like climbing mountains, that in the first 80%, we only use 20% of energy. But in the last bit of 20%, we need we use you need so much energy to climb that last bit. And you need even the bit is shorter, but you need much more strength to achieve that last bit. The last bit requires so much concentration, so much focus. To even it's not much, but I hope you understand my example. No? It's a little, but you need all your strength, and you use maybe 80% of your energy to climb only that last 20%. No? And that, as I said before, the mental factor, it's crucial. No? That you have to believe in yourself that you can do that, because at that moment is when all the doubts come. No? And I don't know if I will be able. It's so high. I am I am tired. Sometimes maybe I'm tired. No, no. It's and then you cross that mental barrier, and then you are there. No? You are there. As I said, no. For me, sometimes sports it gives me sometimes good training. No, that all of this is a mental game. And of course, well, sometimes I put it the example, no? When I play tennis, sometimes these moments of doubt, of doubting yourself, that you are not able to win. I think the key factor is to find solutions in these moments and not to give up in this sense. Well, I think I have run my time, and maybe I pass to you if there is, I don't know, any question. Hope that I haven't run so much. I sometimes I am translator, and I really find challenging sometimes when someone translates me, that I know that it's a challenge to keep the right rhythm. Hope that I has been in a good rhythm that you can.
Yes, brother, it was very nice. Yes. And I really appreciate what you shared with us. And it reminded me, we started with a marathon. So I remember the time from the history of Greece when there was this battle in marathon. So when the Athenians won the battle, there was this soldier who ran to Athens to announce that they won. So yeah, probably in our spiritual journey, it's like marathon, and I like that you share that. And also about the mountains that you said that you climbed, you reminded me because in my young times, uh, I was going somewhere in nature in the fields, not the fields, it was forest, and then I got lost. And the only solution in order to find my way was to go up the mountain and understand where I was. So going up the mountain is really, you said it was a mental thing. You think you cannot reach the peak, but yeah, then at the end you have the power to go. In between, you lose your power, but then at the end, when you reach the top, you're feeling satisfaction, and then everything is very clear to you. So it's really
Having this faith, no, that we have the best guide of all, no. So,
yeah.
no, keep this confidence, no, that don't let go my hand, and I guarantee you that you will reach there. But the important is to keep the Baba's hand or Baba's Shrimat sometimes also.
Exactly, because yeah, sometimes Brahmin life is like climbing the mountain, and if you lose hope, and the only hope we have is Baba, he gives us he pulls our hand, and I have felt that many times because at the beginning I was feeling it's too high, I cannot climb there, but then always Baba helped in that. So I don't see. Let me see if there are any questions. Um, no, it's something like it's in Spanish. Probably it's thanking you. I don't know.
No,
You
it's
share your
Portuguese.
experiences.
It's Portuguese. Teresa, I know, but Teresa,
Yeah, yeah.
obrigada. It says thanks, no?
Thank you. She's thanking you.
Shared experience, yes.
It's really that you share. It's very important that you share your experiences because from the experiences of others, we take. We take tips and also the power to go on.
Just to share also one recent experience, no? That another example of, I could say, never give up. For example, the place we live here in Mallorca, I always try to organize retreats, and I always try to find the right place. And I I've been staying 20 years of service here in Mallorca, and we didn't never find the right place. No, we have organized several retreats. Last year, for example, we did one with other yogis in a hotel, but near the beach. Was a nice place, but you could say hotels sometimes they don't have the best energy for. And here there are also many places that belongs to the church, but always it's difficult sometimes to find. But somehow I keep try to find a place, no? And keep searching. No? And recently, I was just having a conversation with Baba. I said, Baba, you have to give a hand because we want to organize retreats. We have very good response when we do retreats and we find a good place. And it was amazing, no? Because recently we find a place that it belongs to the church, the Jesuits, and they give all the facilities. They allow us to use the kitchen. There's this very good energy in the building. They gave all the facilities, and I really was. I mean, it's also a good lesson. It's sometimes if you have I could say a good wish for service. There is no something selfish for you. If you keep trying, you keep trying. Finally, at the right, as I say, at the right moment, the right person or the right place comes. This is because I think for me it's also a good example experiencing that we don't have to give up even things that there are, because I reach a point sometimes I say there is no place for retreats in Mallorca. We cannot find the right place, but say, keep trying. Finally, we got it. Huh? So
Never give up. Never give up. Yes. Also in Barcelona, they have this monastery.
oh yeah,
Retreats.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's amazing place. Yeah, that has
Yeah.
been our
Yeah.
retreat place also for national retreats many years. That belongs to the church also. The church has good places for retreats.
Yeah.
They not always allow us to use them. Some are very strict. You have to find the right person running the place. There are more open mindset. And
Yes.
you find this kind of people running even Christian Christian monasteries and spiritual houses. Sometimes you find the right person and then the doors open.